Before we get into today's episode about school days, let me tell you a few things about myself, as this is my first video on my channel. So starting off, here are 3 things that I like myself, and if you guys happen to like these things too, don't forget to hit that like button. Starting off with my third spot, it's gonna have to be Brawlhalla. Now, I absolutely love this game and play it from time to time, so if you guys play this game too, don't forget to smash that subscribe. If you guys love anime, then you're in the right spot, because my number 2 spot is gonna have to go to anime. And coming close to that, but not really close to that, my last spot is gonna have to go to Future Diary, as it is my favorite anime all time. No buts, no ands, no ifs. It's my favorite show of all time. I love it with my heart. We're not discussing this. Now that we're acquainted a little better, why don't we hop right into the video. In this analysis, we'll be looking at episode 1 of School Days. I won't go too in detail in this analysis, but we will be looking at character personalities, traits, and things that they do that make them appeal to the way they are. In this analysis video, there will be a time skip about halfway through this episode. This will be a multi-part series on my channel where I'll be going over an episode of one anime per time. If you guys have any suggestions of animes that you want me to go over, or specific episode that you want me to go over, don't forget to leave those in the comments. With everything explained, why don't we hop into this analytical overview of School Days episode 1. This is stage 1 of 5 in my series, what I'll call the crush. Our episode starts off with our main character, Ito, waiting on a train where he coincidentally sees a girl running late to his train. Following that, we can start to get into how Ito views this girl. Note here how Ito doesn't really have an exact motivation to want to pursue her, though he does comment on how she looks interesting because they ride the same train. We are then taken to the second stage of this phase, called the I'll take a little interest. Ito is quickly then seen snapping a picture of this girl that he likes, because of an urban legend he's heard about that says, quote, if you take a picture of the person you like and make it your background and nobody finds out about it for 3 weeks, things will go well between you and that person, securing us in our official second stage of this phase, as there is now a clear notion of Ito having interest in this girl, which we'll name here in a bit. Coming back to the anime, we cut to a scene where we can see Ito on his phone, and then we are introduced to the character Sakai Sanoji. And then this interaction happened.
Oi! 何見てんの？はは、例の恋のおまじない？伊藤って結構ミーハー？
She will play an important role later in the series, but for right now, let's forget about her and focus more on the main character. Same thing for this girl, it'll all tie in later. Next, here we get introduced to Ito's best friend, Taisuke Sawanga. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce that. An acquaintance throughout the series. If I were to describe this guy, it would simply be Patrick from SpongeBob. That's all I got. That's all I got for this guy. If you've ever met anyone who's fumbled a 10 out of 10 bad in your life, it would be this guy. And that's why I solely feel like this guy was the worst character throughout the whole series. He had no character development, and that's a big statement considering what our main character does later in the anime. That's spoilers, and I don't really like spoiling anything for anyone, so back to the actual important details. As Ito's best friend, Tasuke doesn't really play a big part in this story, which you'll come to find out. Back to our story, we can see Tasuke teasing Ito before he's then asked to have a word alone with who we can now name as Sakai Sanoji, our protagonist's best friend. Apparently. As this is happening, his friend promptly teases Ito about his relationship about his best friend. Remember this quote, as we'll dive deeper into it later in these stages. Our main character is then brought up to the top of the school building where Sanoji and Ito can be alone. We move on to phase 3 where we cut to a scene of our main character Ito and Sanoji talking about how Sanoji was able to get in contact with Ito's crush, Hanota Katsura. Alright, now that we're in phase 3 and now that our main character's interest has come to manifest, he is put into a conversation about how that came to be. Note here how Ito admits that Sanonji lying as a way of convincing Katsura to be friends with her was bad, stating she pretended to be sick and spent some time with her. Ito then comments on how pretending is bad, something we'll see come back to bite the main character later in that. And then Sanonji replies with, "Well, I was thinking of you. You know, Sanonji's personality has already developed to be one of a pretender." Everything is happening so fast and so quickly, and I haven't even gone through the first episode. And this is a 12 episode series. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying the video so far. Unless it helps me understand what type of content you guys love. With that out the way, let's move on to the next section of this video. Phase forward. Reality. Now that our main character's manifestations have come to reality, it'd only be inevitable that he has to face them. Sanonji arranges plans with Katsura to speak with her the following night, letting Ito know about this information too. The main character is then teased about how clueless he is about his popularity with the girl, and then this happens. In this scene, Ito is asking Sanonji if she's told anyone about his liking to Katsura. Sanonji tells him no after he starts to get violent with her. Ito quickly apologizes to Sanonji for saying this. Sanonji states it's okay, then talks about how she's going to help Ito get with Katsura, stating, "I'll help you out so that she'll like you too." But watch as her protagonist states he has not even said yes to the offer yet. This would prove vital for our next scene coming up. Ito is then blackmailed by Sanonji about his crush and then asked by Sanonji to be called just Sakai, her first name. And for anyone that doesn't know anything about Japanese culture, and I'm not judging because I had to Google this myself to make sure I was right, but when you call someone by their first name in Japan or Japanese culture, it can mean a variety of two things. The first meaning is that your relationship with the other person is just a really close one, or on another hand, it just means they could be a friend from your childhood whom you are very close with. The second meaning is to use someone's first name, and in most scenarios, if it's a boy and a girl, you could assume that they were in a relationship. Sanonji then grabs Ito's hand where he promptly starts to blush. In conclusion, as Ito's relationship with Katsura grows, Sanonji continues to try and flirt and get closer with Ito. This will continue as a repetition throughout the series. Ito is then seen alone where he was able to state his thoughts on what just went down, stating, "Why did it turn out this way?" So like said before, in this episode, there is going to be a time skip in this video about halfway through, as I don't want to go too in detail into this anime to give out everything. So we're going to move on to our final phase, phase 5, the hypocrisy. We fast forward a bit further into the story and we're met with Ito having lunch with Katsura and Sanonji. In this scene, lunch has been made by Katsura. For anyone who doesn't know, cooking for a man is the #1 ticket to a man's heart. Now that I've quoted my mom in the video, I can happily die a free man. All jokes aside, Katsura wanted Ito to try her lunch, and well, Katsura's cooking was not all that good. So what did our main character do? Ito pretended to enjoy the meal, stuffing his face down with everything that Katsura had made to the point of suffocation. Note here how Ito claimed previously that pretending is bad, yet he continued to scarf down Katsura's cooking to appease her. This ends off with him consuming so much of the sandwiches that he becomes near death. This segues perfectly into the next section as he is seen being helped by Katsura, and then that's when Sanonji sees this as her cue to leave, promptly saying, "Bag her, Ito." Plot closed. This episode would end with Ito asking Katsura out and Katsura telling Sanonji that she's always had feelings for Ito. The end. Actually, second note on that. I watched a bit further into the episode and I can't explain myself any longer. I'll just let you watch the scene. Yeah, this plot has developed so much in the span of just the first episode, and I want to go over all 11. Before I end the video, let's get a breakdown of how each character is being characterized. First, starting off with Mikado Ito. Ito can be seen to be very aggressive, hypocritical, and even impatient at times. When we dive into Sonoji's character, she can be seen to be very manipulative, flirtatious, and even very pushy, as she was able to orchestrate for Ito and Katsura to both have lunch with her through faking a sickness. Ending off with our last character on the main cast right now, we have Katsura. Katsura can be characterized as very caring, wholehearted, but apparently lonely to Sonoji, as seen in this scene. With that being my analysis of this anime's first episode and my first YouTube video, I hope you found value in my perspective and enjoyed the video as much as I did making it. It's been NostalgiaJay, and I'll catch you in my next analysis video.